Some people say that there's science and there's religion, and that it all comes down to what you believe. That's so true. And as a Christian, I can see that a lot of science just doesn't make sense. How do I know? Because I have two eyes. I read the Bible, and I don't believe everything I'm told. And as an American, it's my God-given right to decide what's true and what isn't. I remember years ago during my biology lesson at home, my mom asked me, "Do you really think that life could have jumped out of a puddle of slimy goo by accident, and that we're all here because of some big mistake?" I just looked at her and said, "Well, duh. That's the evidence for evolution?" It's about as ridiculous as the idea that the universe started with a big loud explosion somewhere in outer space. Explosions kill people, they don't make people. Science is so wrong about a lot of things. Think about what we can see up in the sky. There's the sun, a disk, or possibly a ball, of fire that must be far away and really big, hundreds of miles across. The moon is almost the same exact size as the sun, only it's made of something other than fire. And at night there are thousands of stars, too. Now, we've heard scientists say that the sun is just another star and that it isn't so special. But do you really believe that? The Bible doesn't say they're the same. Plus, the sun is way bigger than an eensy-weensy star. And stars only come out at night, whereas the sun only comes out during the daytime. Checkmate! Scientists keep perpetuating this lie that the sun is a star. They spend so much time looking through their fancy telescopes. Of course stars are going to look bigger through a telescope, duh. But they never just go outside and look up. I wasn't sure science was wrong about everything, but then, a miracle. I saw a show about a solar eclipse, and they mentioned that before the eclipse, you couldn't see the moon at all. Now, according to the scientific theory, moonlight is supposedly sunlight reflected off the side of the moon facing the sun. But do you really believe that? I mean, if that theory were true, and keep in mind the Bible says nothing about the moon being lit up by the sun, shouldn't the moon look like this, or at least this, before an eclipse? The so-called theory of moonlight falls apart when you just look and think a little. Now, there are examples of wrong scientific theories everywhere. According to science, gravity should make everything fall to the ground. But what about helium balloons? Explain that one away, gravityists. I once heard a scientist say that air has weight, like a brick or a bag of flour. But turn on a scale and weigh the air. What does it say? 0, duh. And of course, somehow gravity magically doesn't apply to birds like eagles and sparrows and bats. I guess there are things that dumb old theory just can't explain. Then again, if science made sense and really did explain the things we saw, we wouldn't have to turn to God for the answers, would we?